My brother told me to pack my bags, then learned I secretly owned the family house.
At Dad's birthday dinner, my brother Marcus raised his glass and grinned at me. "Pack your bags, loser. This house is going up for sale." Everyone laughed, and a few people cheered. I walked outside and made one call. 10 minutes later, the screaming started. What Marcus didn't know was that 2 years earlier, after Dad had a heart attack, I found bank letters in his office. They were 3 months behind on the mortgage, and the house was days from foreclosure. Dad begged me not to tell anyone. I had just received $180,000 from my divorce settlement, nearly everything I had. So I formed an LLC called Clearwater Holdings and bought the house at auction for $165,000. I let my family keep living there without telling them I owned it. For 14 months, I quietly paid the taxes and repairs. The leaking roof, I paid for it. Meanwhile, Marcus lived there rent-free and called me a failure because my marriage ended and I rented a small apartment. When I walked back inside, he was drawing renovation plans on napkins. "We'll add a wine cellar," he said. Jennifer smiled. "And a home theater." Mom said she could finally get the kitchen island she wanted. Dad sat silent. I stepped up to the table. "Actually, I need to tell you something." Marcus didn't look at me. "If you're begging us to let you stay, save it. Jenny already found a realtor." I sat across from him. "That's interesting because I just got off the phone with my attorney." Mom rolled her eyes. "Alex, honey, you can't afford an attorney. Stop being dramatic." "James Morrison," I said. "He handles real estate law." Marcus laughed. "Why would you need one?" I unlocked my phone. "Because I wanted to know what happens when someone tries to sell a house they don't legally own." The room went quiet. Marcus stared at me. "Mom and Dad own this house. They've lived here for 30 years. They lived here for 30 years, I said, but they haven't owned it for the last 14 months. Dad's face went pale. Mom turned toward him. "Robert?" I opened the county record my attorney had emailed me. "The legal owner is Clearwater Holdings, LLC. It bought this property at foreclosure auction 14 months ago for $165,000. Marcus shot to his feet. "That's impossible." I kept reading. "The previous owners defaulted. The lender foreclosed, and the property was sold." Mom grabbed Dad's arm. "We never got notices." Dad shut his eyes. I said, "You did." "Dad hid them because he thought he could catch up." Dad's voice shook. "After the hospital bills, I fell behind. I thought I could fix it." Marcus was scrolling on his phone. "Who owns Clearwater Holdings?" I looked straight at him. "I do." His phone slipped from his hand and hit the table. Jennifer froze. Marcus stared at me. "You bought Mom and Dad's house?" "I bought the house," I said. "The same one you just told me to leave. The same one you planned to sell and split like it belonged to you." Jennifer hissed. "You said you checked." I turned my phone around and showed them the deed. Marcus grabbed it, zoomed in, then shoved it back. "This can't be legal. Dad was sick. You took advantage of him." Dad looked up. "No, she didn't. I was losing the house. Alex was the only one who helped." Marcus pointed at me. "Then she should give it back. After you lived here free, called me a loser, and announced I was being thrown out so you could sell my property." Mom stood. "Alex, please. We're family." "Exactly. That's why I paid the taxes and fixed the roof. That's why nobody had to move when Dad got sick." Marcus slammed his palm on the table. "You can't just kick us out." My phone rang. I put it on speaker. It was my attorney. "Alex," James said. "I confirmed the county record and deed. Clearwater Holdings is the sole legal owner. I spoke with your brother's realtor. He has no authority to list the property, and she is withdrawn." Marcus went still. James continued. "I've prepared the occupancy notices you requested. Since Marcus and Jennifer have no lease, we can serve them tonight and start the formal process." "Thank you," I said, and ended the call. Marcus stared at me. "You called a lawyer on your own brother?" I stood and picked up my coat. "No, I called my lawyer because my brother tried to sell a house he doesn't own after telling the actual owner to pack her bags." I placed a printed notice beside his renovation sketch. "So let's be clear about who's packing now." Marcus looked down at the paper as Dad pushed back from the table and said, "You heard her."